Gwe, Welly Walag, Nindalawistan Cheryl Copage Giu, Wadabexi Sipanagdi, Jalasi Jabukdo Migmagi. Hello and good evening. My name is Cheryl Copage Giu, and I am the Indigenous Advisor with HRM. I belong to the community of Sipanagdi. As you heard in my intro, I said Jalasi, which in our language means so much more than welcome. It means that we've been waiting for you and that we have the warmest seat in our wigwam here for you. We hold you in a place of honor. Jabukdo is our name of Halifax, which in our language means the Great Harbor. And Mi'kma'ki is the name of our traditional territory, which covers off modern-day Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, and parts of Quebec. I am so honored this evening to do the land acknowledgement. I would like to all acknowledge that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I am so very proud this evening also to be wearing this beautiful traditional Mi'kmaq peak cap, which was made by a 79-year-old elder in my community, Becky Julian of Sipanagdi. It took her over 2 months to hand bead and create this traditional peak cap. I thought it would be very appropriate this evening to wear it to the ceremony, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our peaked hats. They were used through the 18th and 19th century, and our Mi'kmaq women wore these beautiful, unique peak caps, traditionally given to women as they became of age. Today, you see it when you see our Mi'kmaq women chiefs and our leaders. This is the hat of our women leaders in our communities today, in modern times. So I wear this evening to honor all of our new council members, our women council members that have been elected. I also want to say, and have everybody please remember, we are all treaty people here. And with that, I'd like to thank you for having me here this evening. Thank you. Walalio.
Well, alio, Cheryl. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Wali walag. Bonsoir tout le monde. Hey, bienvenue. Jalasi. Welcome to the 2020 swearing-in ceremony. My name is Jacques Dubé, and I'm the CAO with Halifax Regional Municipality. I will serve as your Master of Ceremonies here this evening, in this historic ceremony. In a few minutes, the elected members of Regional Council, along with members of the HRM Honor Guard, will enter the room, at which point I will ask you to all rise. At the conclusion of the ceremony, I will again ask you to rise for the departure of members of Regional Council. You may take photos during the ceremony. However, due to COVID-19, I must ask that everyone except the official photographer, gentleman right over here, and members of the media remain in your seats when taking photos. I would also ask that you kindly turn off all cell phones at this time and place them on silent mode, or place them on silent mode. Thank you very much, and now I call the meeting to order and let the ceremony begin. Please rise, and I ask that our awesome Sergeant-at-Arms, Boyd, bring in the procession. Mr. Sergeant-at-Arms. now pleased, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce Garrett Glode of Millbrook First Nation, who will perform the honor song. Please do not take photos during this performance, and after the honor song, please remain standing for the playing of O Canada and a moment of silent reflection. Garrett?
Give me the dominage, don't deliano take, nigga march don't, game away downage. Give me the dominage, don't wanna back so take, nigga march don't, game on a
Walalio Garrett for sharing the honor song with us. I would now ask that you please remain standing as we hold a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Please join me now in showing the appreciation for our African drummers, Ayo Aleta Jebi, our senior advisor with HRM's African Nova Scotia Affairs Integration Office, and Ifo Ikeda, Piper Graham Ross of the Union Fire Club Pipes and Drums, and our honor guard, Halifax Regional Police Constable Desmond Lambert, RCMP Sergeant Andrew Joyce, and Halifax Regional Fire and Emergency Corporal, or Captain, sorry, James Steinist. It's also my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Associate Chief Justice Patrick J. Duncan, Associate Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia, who will be swearing in the elected members of Halifax Regional Council. Chief Justice. I would now ask our amazing returning officer, Cheryl Murphy, to come forward and call out the names of those declared elected as members of Halifax Regional Council. Madam Cheryl.
My mask always seems to get caught in my glasses. Thank you, Leslie. It's my duty and my privilege as the appointed returning officer for the municipal elections held on October 17th, 2020, within the Halifax Regional Municipality and under the provisions of the Municipal Elections Act, to hereby declare the following elected. For the office of Mayor, Mike Savage. For the office of Councillor District 1, Waverley Fall River, Musquodoboit Valley, Kathy Deagle Gammon. For the office of Councillor District 2, Preston Chesacook Eastern Shore, David Andrew Hensby. For the office of Councillor District 4, Cole Harbour Westfall, Trish Purdy. For the office of Councillor District 3, Dartmouth South Eastern Passage, Becky Kent. For the office of Councillor District 5, Dartmouth Centre, Sam Austin. For the office of Councillor District 8, Halifax Peninsula North, Lyndall J. Smith. For the office of Councillor of District 6, Harbourview Burnside, Dartmouth East, Tony Elio Mancini. For the office of Councillor District 7, Halifax South Downtown, Way Brian Mason. For the office of Councillor District 9, Halifax West Armdale, Sean Cleary. For the office of District 10, Halifax Bedford Basin, Catherine Morse. For the office of Councillor District 12, Timberley, Beachville, Clayton Park, Wedgwood, Iona Stoddard. For the office of Councillor District 13, Hammonds Plains, St. Margaret's, Pamela Robin Lovelace. For the office of Councillor District 14, Middle, Upper Sackville, Beaverbank, Lucasville, Lisa Blackburn. For the office of Councillor District 15, Lower Sackville, Paul Russell. And for the office of Councillor District 16, Bedford Wentworth, Timothy E. D. Outhit.
It's nice to know some people's middle names for a change. I, Mike Savage, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Mayor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
I now invite the mayor's family to come to the stage to present the mayor with the chain of office. Councillor, District 1, Waverley Fall River, Musquodoboit Valley, Kathy Deagle Gammon.
I, Kathy Deagle Gammon, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 2, Preston, Chesapeake, Eastern Shore, David Andrew Hensby.
I, David Hensby, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and abilities, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office, so help me God.
Councillor, District 3, Dartmouth Southeastern Passage, Becky Kent.
I, Becky Kent, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 4, Cole Harbour, Westfall, Trish Purdy.
I, Trish Purdy, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to the law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 5, Dartmouth Centre, Sam Austin.
I, Sam Austin, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 6, Harbourview Burnside, Dartmouth East, Tony Elio Mancini.
I, Lindell Smith, sorry. I, Tony Mancini, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or any promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 7, Halifax South Downtown, Way Brian Mason.
Halfway there, folks, halfway there. I, Way Mason, do solemnly swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor for the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 8, Halifax Peninsula North, Lindell J. Smith.
Sorry. This is the quietest ceremony I've ever been to, by the way. I, Lindell Smith, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth II and her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office in which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for any exercise of partially or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 9, Halifax West Armdale, Sean Cleary.
I, Sean Cleary, do solemnly affirm that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the execution of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 10, Halifax, Bedford, Basin West, Catherine Morse.
I, Catherine Morse, do swear, solemnly affirm, that I will be faithful and, sorry, I really can't see. I, Catherine Morse, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 12, Timberley, Beachville, Clayton Park, Wedgwood, Iona Stoddard.
I, Iona Stoddard, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty the Queen, Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undone execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 13, Hammonds Plains, St. Margaret's, Pamela Robin Lovelace.
Thank you. I, Pamela Lovelace, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received or will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 14, Middle Upper Sackville, Beaverbank, Lucasville, Lisa Blackburn.
Thank you. I, Lisa Blackburn, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to the law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 15, Lower Sackville, Paul Russell.
I, Paul Russell, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, and that I am duly qualified, as required by law, for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability, and that I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or any promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Councillor, District 16, Bedford Wentworth, Timothy E.D. Outed.
Edward Daniel. Oops, there go the glasses. All right. I practiced this at home. Okay. I, Timothy Outhet, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs, successors according to law, and that I am duly qualified as required by law for the office of Councillor of the Halifax Regional Municipality, and that I will truly, faithfully, impartially execute the duties of the office to which I have been elected to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and I will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of any partiality or other undue execution of the duties of my office.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a round of applause for the mayor and members of Regional Council. So it is now my pleasure and honor to invite our warm-hearted, quick-witted, sharp-minded Chief Marketer and Chief Magistrate, His Worship, Mayor Mike Savage, to provide remarks on this very special occasion. Mayor Savage.
No offense, Elio. By the way, folks, I think we have the cleanest table in Halifax, that one over there by the microphone. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Gwe, bonjour à tous. I want to acknowledge, as I think Cheryl did earlier, that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional and the unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. This is a very special night, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be here in person, along with our MC and CAO Jacques Dubé, the Honorable Associate Chief Justice Patrick J. Duncan, Garrett Glode from Millbrook First Nation, Cheryl Copage Jehu, our HRM Indigenous Engagement Advisor, Io and the African Drummers, and our new and returning councillors, family, and friends, and our returning officer, Cheryl Murphy. You know, it is the privilege of my life to be the mayor of Halifax. I'm here tonight with my wife, Darlene, my daughter, Emma, and my son, Connor. Like everybody on this stage, we can't say enough about our family. I want to thank them for being here tonight, for their unwavering support these last several months and years. A couple of days after this election, I was chatting with Councillor Mason, and we laughed at the fact that with the exception of the grizzled old vets, hens being out hit, we were now the most experienced members of council, having first been elected just 2 terms ago in 2012. It really does seem like yesterday in many ways. And there's a big difference between the council that Way and I joined in 2012 and this one today. In 2012, the 16 councillors elected to serve had a total of 141 years of council experience. Those being sworn in tonight have a total of 67 years, and councillors Hensby and Outhit account for over half of that. Paul Russell now counts as a veteran, and he was elected a year ago. Experience is important, as I learned in 2012, and it's useful. But experience doesn't just come at the council table. Everybody here tonight has their own unique experience that they bring to the table, and it is enormously impressive and exciting. And while it shouldn't be a big deal these days, it is that half of our councillors are now women. It is about time, and it makes us a better, stronger council, more reflective of the people that we serve. I do want to just take a moment and thank the 7 councillors who served on the last term, who will not be here with us. The dedication of each of these folks is remarkable and has left a lasting impact on their communities. Now, to those of you who are returning to council, I offer my congratulations and thanks as we turn our gaze forward and consider the opportunities ahead. To those newly elected, I offer my most sincere congratulations and welcome. You campaigned in the unique circumstance of a worldwide pandemic. Some of you defeated strong incumbents. Some of you emerged from huge fields of candidates. Some of you may have fully expected to win, and some may still be overwhelmed. But each of you has earned the right to be here, to experience one of the greatest privileges of democracy, to represent your fellow citizens in elected office. I'd like to acknowledge our staff tonight, led by CAO Jacques Dubé, and there aren't a lot of our staff here. Obviously, we kept the numbers low so family and friends could be here. Earlier this week, we had a little gathering for some of the outgoing councillors to honor their efforts. And it was striking that each of them, those who retired or those who were defeated in the election, thanked our staff for their dedication and their competence. And you will realize very quickly why they did so. We as elected officials in Halifax work with one of the most amazing groups of professional staff that you will ever find. I will tell you sincerely that it is an honor to work with them every day. I also want to take this opportunity, since I have the microphone, to thank those who have worked in my own office the last 8 years. Sean McKinley, Callie McNamara, Brenda Murphy, Jollymore have all been with us from the beginning. Josh Bates, Josh Bragg, Sarah Douglas, Lisa McNeil, Ken Benoit worked with us and have moved on to other assignments. And Jessica Bradley, Natasha Gibb, Devin Carter, and Nicole McDonald. I have been blessed to work with this extraordinary group of people whose dedication and commitment is not just to me, in fact, not mainly to me, but to the people that we serve, and it is inspiring. And I want to thank the staff who organized tonight's swearing in. I felt it was very important that we actually do come together and not do this on a computer. And it requires effort. And I really want to thank them for their work, and not just now, but through COVID as well. Because, of course, COVID is our world right now. It impacts everything, and it has impacted us without question. It impacts our businesses and our residents, and it impacts the municipality right to the bottom line. Just how dramatically we are going to be impacted will become clearer very soon when we see how October property taxes come in. We know that many businesses in particular can't pay their commercial property tax. When revenues, room bookings, and reservations are a fraction of normal, then property tax is hard to pay. Now, our financial position as a city is strong. Low debt, high reserves, but make no mistake, we will be affected, and we'll be dealing with that shortly as the budget process begins. But I have to say how proud I am of our council and our staff and how they've dealt with COVID to date. You know, our budget was due to be passed in late March, but of course, with the arrival of COVID in mid-March, that meeting didn't happen. As soon as the province allowed legislation allowing us to meet virtually, and following a detailed recast of our budget by the CAO, our CFO, and staff, Council undertook a painstaking line-by-line review of proposed cuts. In a very disciplined way, we reduced our budget while maintaining critical services. In fact, starting in April, and in spite of COVID, we took on some extraordinary challenges. And while some legislative bodies around the world were slow to meet, we truly went into overdrive. From April to October, our council had 11 budget meetings, 15 regional council meetings, 8 public hearings, 8 heritage hearings, and a very convoluted appeal of the Design Advisory Committee. In that time, in the time of COVID, we adopted Halifax, one of the most impressive and comprehensive climate change action plans of any municipality anywhere. We adopted a somewhat radical transit plan, including rapid transit, that is truly transformative. We passed legislation on ride sharing to provide more transportation options. We accepted the recommendations of the Task Force on the Commemoration of Edward Cornwallis, a report of which I am very proud and which I recommend to your reading. And I want to thank the co-chairs, Chief Rod Gugu and Monica McDonald, for their professionalism and their dedication. Along with the Halifax Partnership, we continue to lead economic recovery efforts with our private, public, and post-secondary partners. We passed the Partnership's Road to Economic Prosperity for African Nova Scotians to address long-time and systemic inequities. We approved staff's recommendations to continue work on the important Beachville Planning Strategy Review. We moved forward with the purchase of land in Blue Mountain Birch Cove Wilderness Area, protecting this vast stretch of land for generations to come. And importantly, we addressed the urgent issue of housing affordability in a number of very tangible ways. The provision of backyard and secondary suites, examining the impact of Airbnb on housing, looking at the fees that we charge as a city for affordable housing, and considering ways that we can help directly through our housing fund. We have set the stage for addressing housing affordability, which I know matters to many of the people on this stage. That was unimaginable a few years ago. We're now in a better position to ensure more people have a decent place to live. The announcement just this week of $8.7 million for Halifax in federal funding through the Rapid Housing Initiative for the creation of new affordable housing will help us as well. And I want to say to those who've been on council for a while, to our new councillors, I'm glad that you're not going to be told to stay out of housing as we were 2 terms ago. But we have lots of work to do. On many of these issues, the work has only just begun. But tonight, let us not forget how fortunate we are to live in this vast, amazing, diverse municipality. We have been growing at a remarkable rate in the last handful of years. Year after year, we have seen record population growth spurred by immigration, which has reached targets even beyond the Ivany Report. The development in the core of our city and new growth centers in both suburban and rural communities. We have become a leading tech hub in Canada and have gone from losing our new graduates to being a magnet for young talent in only a few years. Investing in key infrastructure, taking on big projects like the Cogswell redevelopment, and moving to be a city where more people walk and bike and take transit. Protecting wilderness areas, investing in new community hubs in places like Beachville, Lakeside, Timberley, and Sheet Harbor. Right, Councillor Hensby? We have the most incredible libraries anywhere. Whether it is the still new, even though it's 5 years old, awesome Central Library, or the equally awesome new Library Community Center in Musquodoboit Harbor, and many others. We're working with government partners to take trucks off downtown roads and to build a bikeway off the McDonald Bridge. We are today more diverse than we have ever been, a place where people from around the world work together, building a city where everybody can live and thrive. COVID is an enormous challenge, but we here have faced challenges before. Just over a century ago, our city was decimated by the Halifax explosion, destroyed physically, assaulted spiritually. But we were resilient and we rebuilt. We will again. We entered COVID on a roll unlike any we have seen before, and we will come back strong. We will honor this land known as Jabuktuk, the Great Harbor, and we will be the city that we all know we can be. Not just bigger, but better. A city that honors the great work of those who came before, but with our eyes planted firmly on the future. We strive to be a city where everybody has a home, a purpose, and an opportunity. This is now in our hands collectively as a community, but we on this stage have been given the privilege of being on the front lines. You are all here because people have faith in you, in us collectively, and together we will not let them down. Time to get to work. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Walalan, walaliak.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations again on your election with such a strong public endorsement, and welcome back to Halifax Regional Municipality. You know, working with you very closely over the last 4 years has been a pleasure and a privilege, and I look forward to continuing that close collaboration. For those councillors who are returning, I also welcome the exciting opportunity to continue working with you, working constructively with you. And that last council, as the mayor has pointed out, made some big, game-changing decisions, and I appreciate the opportunity to continue building on that momentum with you. I'm also very eager to work with our newly elected councillors and establish a constructive and productive working relationship with you. You are part of history in forming HRM's first council where gender parity amongst councillors will have been achieved by the voters, assuming the election night results are confirmed in District 11. It is an honor and a privilege to work with all of you. You know, ladies and gentlemen, anyone who chooses to run for office demonstrates a commitment to public service. And I admire you for embarking on this path, and I'm confident your dedication and passion for community will serve you well as members of Halifax Regional Council. Today is the start of 4 years working together as a regional council on behalf of the residents of HRM. You have a unique opportunity to contribute to the continued strong growth of our region and all its distinct communities. I am especially encouraged by the diversity of this new council and the unique perspectives and experiences each of you will bring to the table. I very much look forward to working with all of you and our exceptional staff to provide excellent customer service to our residents and strive to achieve council's priorities over the coming years. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we are reaching the conclusion of our ceremony, I would ask for a motion to adjourn from a member of council. Moved by Councillor Mason. We are now adjourned. Thank you all. Merci à vous tous. Volelio. Please stand for the playing of God Save the Queen. Please remain standing as the honor guard and the mayor and members of regional council depart the room. After they have departed, the audience may also leave. I kindly ask you to leave the room in sequence, beginning with the back row, using the doors on your left to exit. Mr. Sergeant at Arms, please proceed.
Yes,